Happy weekend, all. It's Miss Schuyler again, here to explain a few homework problems. So, one homework that I wanted to go over was from homework 9-4, and we're actually going to be going over both number 4 and number 5 because they involved slightly different types of problem solving, but the process is still very similar. So just like we started with our last video, I wanted to start with the molar roadmap. So for any of the problems within 9-4, you could refer back to the molar roadmap. So reminder that a mole of a substance can be converted into the volume in liters if it's a gas. Now, a reminder that conversion is going to be 22.4 liters per 1 mole. This is a conversion factor, meaning that we can flip it around depending what we're solving for. So if we're solving for volume, then we would want our 22.4 to be in the numerator. If we're going in the opposite direction and we're trying to get into moles, then it would be flipped around. So we would write it as 1 mole of a gas is equivalent to 22.4 liters. So this is when a gas is at STP, meaning standard temperature and pressure. For our purposes right now, all of our gases are going to be at STP, standard temperature and pressure. So this is the newest part of the molar roadmap that we're going to use for stoichiometry. We've used it in the past, but we haven't used it for stoichiometry. So a reminder that the other road in the molar roadmap is to go into Masstown, which you guys are very familiar with using molar mass. So if you're getting into mass of a substance, you would use the molar mass in grams per mole. If you were going in the opposite direction, same thing, flip that conversion factor around. So we have 1 mole of a substance per whatever the molar mass is in grams. And of course, there's that third molar roadmap to representative particles. We're really going to just stick in volume and mass for this unit. So I'm just going to leave these two up for you. So with stoichiometry, we can compare the moles of this particular reactant or product to another one. And so we can connect them with the mole ratio. Ding, ding, ding. This is the new thing within this unit, as we discussed in our last video. This connects two molar roadmaps. So we would have the molar roadmap of, we'll just say, reactant A. And for on this side, we would connect it to the moles of reactant B. So we're going to draw the exact same molar roadmap on this side. So we're going to show that going in to volume of a gas in liters or mass of a gas or anything really in grams using the same conversions. So with this in mind, we could solve for anything we want. Liters of a gas, mass of a gas, etc. So let's try number 3 together. So number 3 was looking at how much nitrogen gas would need to be reacted with hydrogen gas to form ammonia. So if we were going to write out that equation, we would have hydrogen gas, which we remember is a diatomic gas, meaning it's H2, reacting with nitrogen gas, which is also diatomic, so also N2, to produce ammonia, which is NH3. So if you go to balance this, you would end up with the coefficients 3, 1, and 2. So we are given in this problem that we want, or we have rather, 100 liters of hydrogen gas, and it specifically asks for how much nitrogen gas is needed to completely react with it. And it doesn't ask for mass, it asks for volume, meaning you are solving for how many liters. So we are going from hydrogen into volume of nitrogen. So we're going to start this off. Let's go back to our molar roadmap. We are starting in volume town. So we are starting in volume town, and we are trying to get into volume town of another gas, meaning that we are going from here to here. But we have to follow a roadmap, so meaning that we need to go into moles of our substance, followed by a mole ratio to get into moles of our other substance, and then use that 22.4 to get into volume. So let's set that up. We're provided that we have 150 liters of hydrogen gas. In order to go to compare H2 and N2, we have to make sure we're in moles. So just like we reviewed earlier, if we're trying to get from volume of a gas into moles of a gas, we're going to use the conversion factor, 22.4 liters. So we're going to be using 22.4 liters of hydrogen is equivalent to 1 mole of hydrogen. So all this means that at STP, if we were going to fill up a balloon filled with hydrogen, it would have a volume of 22.4 liters, and that is equivalent to 1 mole of hydrogen. That is what that means. So what this does for us, it gets us into moles of hydrogen. Now this is a lot easier than the molar mass problems. If you guys rocked the molar mass problems, you're going to do fine at volume problems because you're simply just plugging in that 22.4 value. You're not having to calculate a molar mass. So from here, it's the same as our other homework. Since we're in moles of a substance, we can get into the mole of our other substance by using the mole ratio, which we will be using the coefficients from our balanced chemical equation. So we will say for every 3 moles of hydrogen, we require 1 mole of N2. Notice number, unit, label for every step. That's going to make sure that you're getting into the right thing. And this problem is specifically asking for liters of N2, not mass. If it was asking for mass, we would use molar mass. But we're not looking for mass, we are looking for volume. So then we just simply use that volume conversion one more time. So we would say for every 1 mole of N2 is equivalent to how many liters of N2? It's that magical 22.4 value once again. So this is where you are getting your answer of 50, technically 50.00 liters of N2 because it is 4 significant figures since our original value had 4 sig figs. So this is how you would use this process. It's the same molar roadmap. You're just going down a different road in the roadmap. I hope that clarifies number 3 for you. With our time together today, I also wanted to clarify number 4 because it's similar but slightly different. So in number 4, we are told that oxygen is produced through aluminum oxide decomposing. So you would have to use the crisscross method to name aluminum oxide, so Al2O3. And it's decomposing into its elements, so that means aluminum and oxygen. Remember, oxygen is a gas, so it's going to be diatomic, meaning have a 2. Aluminum's a metal, so it's just Al. When you go to balance, you should end up with the coefficients 2, 4, and 3. So in the problem, we're provided that 250 grams of aluminum oxide is what we start with. And we're trying to find the volume of oxygen gas that's produced. So in here, we're not comparing 2 reactants, but we're comparing 1 reactant to a product. So in this example, it's very similar to number 4 because it's the same process. We're going to start off with what's given, 250 grams of aluminum oxide. And let's go back to our molar roadmap so we can look at our next step. So in our molar roadmap, we are starting in mass town. We're not starting in volume town. So that means that we're going to need to use our molar mass conversion to get into our moles. From here, we can use the mole ratio to get into the moles of the thing we're looking for, and then we could get into volume of a gas using the 22.4. So always think about which town in the molar roadmap that you're starting in and where you're going to. So since we're starting in Masstown, we're going to want to use the molar mass of aluminum oxide, which you would have to figure out separately. So we would say that for every 1 mole of aluminum oxide is equivalent to 101.96 grams of aluminum oxide. So just like you'll see the same process again and again. So since we're in mass of this particular substance, we are able to go into the moles of another substance using the molar ratio. This is coming up again and again. That is coming from the coefficients in our balanced chemical equation. We are comparing our moles of aluminum oxide to our moles of oxygen. So we're going to say for every 2 moles of aluminum oxide is equivalent to 3 moles of O2. And from here, we just have to do our final step. So since we're solving for liters, we're not going to use the molar mass of O2. The reason we used our molar mass for aluminum oxide was because we were in grams and going to moles. But for this process, we're trying to get into the volume of a gas. So we don't need molar mass. Rather, we need that molar volume of a gas. So we would need to say that for 1 mole of oxygen gas is equivalent to 22.4 liters of oxygen gas, which gives you your liters of O2 that you're looking for. So this would give you your answer of 82.39 grams of O2. And again, this one happens to have 4 sig figs as well because our beginning value has 4 sig figs. So this was again number 3 and 4 from homework 9-4. I hope that this clarified when you would use molar mass, when you would use that molar volume. I think using the molar volume actually is way easier than using molar mass. There's a lot less moving parts in it. So if you need to revisit those in your homework, and I hope that this has provided you further clarification. Have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you again next week. Bye, guys.